Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Academic Bay series on research methods. I hope you would have understood the different types of variables as we discussed in our last lecture. Today we are going to talk about measurement of variables. As you know, measurement of variable is of utmost significance for quantitative research, as the quantitative research revolves around translating concepts into variables that are the constituents of hypotheses, which are supposed to be tested by using statistical tools. Hence, the rigor of quantitative research relies on accurate measurement of variables. So let's start our today's topic, and if you have not subscribed my channel so far, please subscribe. As I told you in my previous lecture that variables and their measurement in natural science is relatively easy, because variables like force, mass, weight, volume, pressure have sophisticated instruments and a particular unit. However, when it comes to social science, the measurement of variables become slightly tricky. In order to measure a variable in social science, we need to fulfill two criteria. Number one, a variable must have such an attribute, at least one attribute or dimension of the variable, which is quantifiable in nature. And number two, that dimension of the variable or the attribute must comply by at least one of the four basic rules of measurement. Here in our today's lecture, I will use the term scale and data interchangeably. So it is the rules, four basic rules of measurement, which provide for four different types of scales or the four different types of data. So let's start with the first one. Number one, nominal scale. Nominal scale or the nominal data is the weakest of the four types of scale available. The reason is it provides very limited information. This scale helps in creating distinct categories which are unique in nature. So uniqueness is the important point to remember. The rule that applies here is that each number, or you can say a particular number, means a distinct thing. For example, gender can be divided into two categories of male and female. We may label one for female and two for male. Political parties in US, we may label one for Republican and two for Democrats. Hence, uniqueness is the major characteristic of nominal scale or nominal data. Number two is ordinal scale or ordinal data. Ordinal scale is richer than the nominal scale, as it provides information about the ranks along with the uniqueness of the category. This scale helps in creating ranks in a group. However, it does not show the exact difference between the two ranks. Data to be measured on this scale must have at least one such dimension which is unique in character and can also provide basis for ranking. For example, a list showing first, second, third, fourth, fifth position holders in a class only tells us about the ranks of the student. It does not show the exact difference or the distance between the two ranks. Ordinal scale is extensively used in political science. For example, in order to know the party preferences of voters, policy preferences, or the ranking of most important societal issues. So the second rule that has been applied here, along with the uniqueness, the data to be measured in this scale must provide for information that will help in creating ranking. Number 3 is interval scale. Interval scale is richer than the previous two scales. The data to be measured on interval scale must qualify for 3 tests. 1. Uniqueness in character. Number 2. At least one such dimension that will provide basis for ranking. And number 3. Equal distance between the ranks, or at least assumed equal distance between the ranks. It is also known as equidistant scale. With the interval scale, it becomes possible to know the difference between the two ranks or points on a scale. In the example that I discussed in ordinal scale, by using interval scale, it becomes possible to know the difference between top 5 position holders in that class, provided that the difference between each rank is equal. Interval scale is commonly used in grade point averages, IQ tests, and attitude surveys. Likert surveys are very frequently used in social sciences. On a 5-point Likert scale, 1 means strongly disagree, and 5 means strongly agree, and 3 means neutral. So the thing to remember is that interval scale is used for the measurement of that type of data which provides for equidistant ranks, or at least assumed equidistant ranks. The deficiency in interval scale is that it does not provide the real-time difference between two ranks or points on a scale. This deficiency is met by ratio scale. Number 4, ratio scale or ratio data. This is the richest of all data types. The reason is it complies with the rule 4. The principle is that ratio scale has an absolute 0, which means that we can exactly measure the data. Data about age, experience, number of dependents, number of times a party came into power. That is exact in nature. For example, 50 years means 50 years. So, ratio scale is the richest of all the 4 scales. Two important things to remember. 1, in terms of scale, always keep in mind that you can move backward. Data collected on ratio scale can be converted into interval scale, ordinal or nominal. However, data collected on nominal scale cannot be converted to ordinal or even interval scale. So always try to collect the richest type of data. And number 2, different types of data facilitate different types of hypothesis testing. Therefore, when designing your research project, always keep this fact in mind. What is the requirement of your research problem? What is the requirement of testing? Hence, your testing requirement needs to be fulfilled. Consequently, selection of data or the measurement scheme will be done appropriately. Thank you very much. I hope you will have understood the basics of measurement of variables.